Are you a deviant? You know, like those of us who binge watch serial killer programmes, laugh at the stupid shit people do, and revel in anything adult? Well, you've found your people. Join us as we crack open the door to the padded cell and release the insanely stupid, the weirdly wonderful, and those who choose to live outside societal norms. We'll delve into the strange, the macabre, the sexy, and the outrageous. So if you're a deviant, then you've found a place with us in the padded cell. Welcome back to the Padded Cell podcast. I'm Vicky.
I'm Nancy. Hello.
And this is episode 4. We're forging on, aren't we, Nancy?
We are.
We're really going for it. And you're all loving it. We're getting tons and tons of messages from you all. And I really, really appreciate the loves. It's making all this worthwhile, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because we put a lot of work into this in the background, a lot of research and stuff. And there's a lot of discussion that goes on. And we're dead busy in general, but you know, the fact that you're loving it is making it all worthwhile, and I'm dead stoked. So thanks everybody for your love. I've had a couple of people wanting to know more about my profession, so we're going to be talking about that today, and also about the short hairdo. Where's my Mohican gone?
Yeah.
I just lobbed it off. I got fed up of it. I've had it for 4 years and I just fancied a change. And so I just lobbed it all off, yeah. And it's very liberating. It's so much easier in the morning. I can just wash and go. It's great.
It's like an advert.
Yeah, I've got used to it now.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to anyway?
Well, we've just had a busy weekend.
We have.
A very glamorous weekend.
I felt dead glam.
It was lovely, wasn't it? To get dressed up.
Yeah.
So we went to the Swing Club launch party, which is a brand new app for people in our lifestyle.
It was like a networking event as well,
It was
wasn't
really
it?
nice. I mean, a lot of these people you see online, obviously they have profiles similar to us and you get to know faces and things, but it's really nice to meet them and
actually
chat.
Have conversations. Yeah. It's different, you know, chatting
like
on Instagram
real life,
or whatever.
Not...
Yeah. And a lot of the time online, you're sort of acting into a persona, aren't you, or whatever. But when you're face to face, it's hard to maintain that. So you're just yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed meeting a lot of the people that, you know, I've seen the names popping up.
Yeah.
But also the effort that these guys put into the night. It was outstanding.
It was a fabulous party, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was
really,
nice.
Really good.
It was a black tie party.
Yeah, so we had posh frocks on, didn't we?
We did. Posh frocks. The boys were all suited up. It was really nice.
It was good.
Yeah.
So it was a heavy weekend as well, wasn't it? Because I don't think you got an awful lot of sleep.
Nope.
It wasn't one of them kind of parties, by the way. It was strictly
a
social.
behave yourself party.
Yeah, but you took your fun back to your bedroom.
The after party, maybe not so much.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a busy one, hasn't it? But it's all go in our lives.
It is.
Yeah. A bit of glam every now and then. It's not glam that often in really our life, is it? People think that it's glam and it's not.
It's very, very not.
No.
So it's Monday morning.
It's Monday morning, and I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about something that people think is glamorous. It's not sometimes.
Nope.
And I'm dressed in a certain way because people have been asking about me being a dominatrix. I've brought it up in previous episodes. And they just didn't get it. You know, why'd you do this, and what do you get out of it? What do other people get out of it and stuff? Now, I am going to talk about a specific person in a bit.
Okay.
But before I do, I just want to talk a little bit about domination and why people would come to somebody like me. So just to backtrack a little bit, I'm a dom A. That means I'm a female dominant, otherwise known as a dominatrix, and that comes from Latin, by the way. Don't think you knew that. And it's quite a new word that's been attached to people like me. I mean, obviously you top into that role as well, don't you? Previous to that, we were called governesses. That sounds a little bit like childless, doesn't it?
Sounds
a bit like you
some
know,
big
spinster.
burly woman.
Yeah.
I imagine like the trunch ball.
Yeah, it does, yeah. But they were called a governess. And actually a dominatrix, they only came in like middle of the last century.
Yeah.
But the reason people come to somebody like me, and just to clarify, I'm a dominatrix socially, so I do it on my own time, on my own terms, and I just beat people up because they like it and I like doing it. But I have also been professional, so people have actually come to me and paid for my services over the years. For a long time. I don't do it so much now because I'm just too busy, and I like just doing it socially. But why would people come and pay somebody like me, and what do they get out of it? So what they get out of it is a bit of escapism for an hour or two. People that come to me are often high profile, or they have high pressure jobs, very, very stressful jobs. And so they just want an hour or two where they're not in control. They can give control over to somebody else and just lose themselves. And then they just pick themselves up and go back to their busy lives again. And a lot of them do like pain being inflicted onto them. And this is the main thing that people don't get. Why would you pay somebody to whack you and put you through quite a lot of pain? And it's all down to the good old hormones. When we're in pain, we release endorphins, natural painkillers. And these endorphins can give you the morphine high, can't they?
Yeah.
And people chase this high. It's like a drug. And the more you get hit, the more endorphins get released. There's also adrenaline in there and all other hormones. And they make you feel really good at the time. So they're paying almost for a high.
Yeah.
A legal high. It is sort of legalish. And most professional dominatrix don't provide sexual services. It's all sadomasochism, basically. So we just hit people for pleasure. We tie people up for pleasure. There are some professionals who do add in maybe like strap-on, stuff like that, but most of us don't. It's literally just sadistic.
Yeah.
I am just an evil cunt, because we said we're not going to say that word on this podcast.
I bet you it'll slip in somewhere.
Well, actually, there is a little C word in this bit, because I'm talking about somebody and it'll become clear. So that's why people come to me. They pay for the pain and for that high. That's it in its most simplest form. Other people like humiliation, and that is their sexual kick. I'm not great at humiliation because I just don't like offending people. I like to hurt people in a physical way. I know that makes me sound like a total psychopath, but there's a lot of us. We're not all psychopaths. But I don't like the humiliation bit. I don't like telling people like they're a worm. I'm like, look, just you're really, really nice. Come over here. Let me strap you onto my cross, and I'm going to beat your ass for an hour.
But then I'll be nice to you.
But you're lovely.
Yeah.
I can't get on board with humiliation. It's not my thing. So that's sort of a very quick whistle stop. And we might go into it, I think, at a later date a little bit more about the complexities, because it is really, really interesting. But to understand where I'm going next with this, I think it's just good to understand why people would come to somebody like me, what makes them pay to be hit. And that's why.
Yeah.
It's not just because they're loons. It's because they want to get that high.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to talk about what we think is one of the very first professional dominatrix in history, in England, actually. And her name is Theresa Berkeley. And, you know, you're reading about somebody, I'm like, you are fabulous. She's like a role model, almost, really. And she was a trailblazer of her time. So she was around in, like, the late 1700s. And BDSM has played a part in like sex work for forever, basically. You know, sex work's been around forever, and people have been wanting to get hit around forever as well. But in England, it really started becoming dead popular in the early 1700s, and it was more like kinky sex.
Yeah.
But Theresa really like honed her craft, and she made it her profession. So she just offered like flagellation, birching, that kind of thing. Just lol. And she became really good at it and very well known at it. She amassed a massive collection of toys, and people from all over would come and see her. Now, I've got a little quote here from one of her governess friends called Mary Wilson. And she said, she could assume great urbanity and good humour. She would study every lech, whim, caprice and desire of the customer. And had she the disposition to gratify them, her avarice was rewarded in return. So basically what she's saying, she's confident, relaxed, polite, good humoured, and she could basically read body language. And I know what your kink is. I'm going to give it to you. Just pay me.
Yeah.
She was clever. So what she did, actually, she turned sort of this kind of sex work into a very lucrative profession. So she was the first professional dominatrix, although she wasn't called a dominatrix. At a time when morals were high and godliness and respectability were expected. But obviously, you know, they're the same as we are now. They've all got the needs and the kinks, and they're all a bit dirty. So there's this undercurrent that was flourishing in the Victorian, well, before the Victorian times. And she honed in on this, and she's like, right, so all these people who are like, you know, God's right-hand man, I know that you're really lecherous. Come to me and we'll explore that.
Yeah.
And she made an awful lot of money. She opened this Chambers by Soho Square, kitted it out. She ensured the discretion of her clients, so her clients were becoming more and more high profile. Now, you can only guess who these people are, because I'll go into it a bit more later on, but any notes that she kept were destroyed, so we don't know exactly. And she did say to them, look, you come to me, nobody's going to know about it.
Yeah.
She was that popular, she opened another Chambers in 1828, and she fitted suspension points in her room. She actually invented a piece of equipment especially to attach people onto. And it was called the Berkeley horse. And she had it commissioned, and this was in her apartment, in her house. She had all sorts of stuff, and she had loads and loads of kit. And this Mary Wilson, she said that she was the most kitted out governess, basically, out of them all. Yeah. There was nothing she didn't have, and that's why people were going to her, for the discretion, but also because of what she could offer them.
Variety.
Yeah. And some of the things, so Mary went on to say, clients would be birched, whipped, fustigated, scourged, needle pricked, half hung, holly bushed, furze brushed, butcher brushed, stinging nettled, curry combed, phlebotomised and tortured.
Sounds good.
And a partridge in a pear tree. I had to look up what fustigated was. Do you know what that is?
No.
So it can mean humiliated or clubbed.
Okay.
So it could have been either of those.
Yeah.
But I thought, because a lot of you guys and girls out there won't know what some of these things are, I brought some of my kit. So let's have a little look at. So one of her favourite things was a cat of nine tails. Now, got my little box of tricks. I've got a cat of nine tails. Now, back in the day, a cat of nine tails would have been made out of all kinds of stuff. But traditionally, they were used on ships as a form of flagellation and punishment. And so they'd use the ship ropes, which are often hemp. And this is like a replica, if you like, of the traditional cat of nine tails. It's got a wooden handle. It's got plaited hemp rope here, which becomes nine tails. And then on the end of it, you've got like a twine, which makes it really brutal on the end. Now, cat of nine tails that Theresa would use, she'd sometimes sew in like needles or things into the ends. So when they hit the skin, they would ribbon the skin as well. And I know for some people out there, they'd be like, why'd you do this to yourself? Now, this is my cat, and I don't need needles. Just the way it's made and these little bits of twine on the end, it's really brutal, and there's not many people that can take it. And I don't give it full welly. I've never give it full welly to anybody, because I'd literally open up their back. But the cat of nine tails is really effective, because you can just like use it really easily and you get maximum effect out of it. And that was her favourite implement out of everything. She also liked the birch. Now, I've got a sort of a birch. The original birch was obviously made out of birch twigs.
Yeah.
And she used to keep them in water to keep them nice and supple and for longevity. Nowadays, and it was like several branches of a birch all like tied together. A birch nowadays is more something like this. So it's lots of bamboo put together. Some of it's actually snapped because it's been whacking people that hard. I've actually snapped some of the bamboo, and it's just sort of like, you know, tied together here. It's got a beautiful sound.
You recognise that sound anywhere.
Oh, yeah. If I heard that in another room, I'm like, someone's getting birched.
Yeah.
I love it. It's got a great sound. It feels nice. And actually, it's not that brutal, really.
It's quite nice, I think.
It's a nice little warm-up.
Yeah.
But if you think about the birch that she may have used, she probably wouldn't have like trimmed down the branches.
Yeah.
They would have had all like little knobbly bits on them. So when it made contact, it probably would have been, you know, quite sore.
And
catch. It would have caught under the skin and everything, probably. Yeah. So yeah, that was her second favourite. She used to also use leather straps. I haven't brought one of them because a leather strap's a leather strap. But from leather straps and cat of nine tails came floggers. Mm-hmm. So floggers traditionally were the cat of nine, but they quickly realised that leather straps were really, really effective. So started making floggers out of these leather straps, and I've got one of them. So this is a really, really big flogger. It's very, very heavy. It's made of good quality heavy leather, nice and thick. And you get these in all different shapes and sizes, length, thicknesses, and levels of brutality. And yeah, you can do some real damage with this, can't you, Nance?
You can indeed.
Yeah, and that's one of my personal favourites. And she also used other things like whips, canes, all sorts of things. And I have brought just a couple very, very quickly. So traditionally, Theresa would have used a governess cane.
Yeah.
So obviously you can see the handle there. It's like a headmistress type cane. I don't like these for that reason. Yeah. Too bendy, way too bendy. So you hit somebody, boing, goes all over the place. You just can't be very accurate with it. So I tend to use the modern cane, which is a lot straighter and less bendy. Yeah. It's much more rigid. And it is what it is. You whack people over the arse with it as hard as you possibly can in most occasions. And it hurts like a TWAT. It
hurts a lot more than people probably imagine.
Yeah. Very, very stingy and produces welts across the bum. And normally people that use canes, they've been through all this, all the other stuff, and the pain levels have increased, the tolerance. And so they move on to things like canes because it hurts more, and then they still get the endorphin rush. So I suppose it's like any other drug. The more you take it, the more you need it, because it doesn't have the same effect. Yeah. So you've got to do it bigger, better, faster, more. And that's what happens when you use a cane. So there you go. I'll just leave all them bits there for now. So that's a little bit about some of the stuff that she'd use. Oh, and sorry, me bullwhip as well. I'm going to get rid of that, but otherwise a cable wrapped in it. So this is a bullwhip. I could crack it, but I'd probably take down some of the set, so I won't.
Definitely too many lights in here.
But basically, this is a bullwhip. I think it's a 4 or 5 foot bullwhip. It cracks. It makes a wonderful, wonderful sound. You probably would have seen them on telly or whatever. But we actually use these on people. And it makes us look like dead impressive and dead clever. But it's quite, now that I know what to do, it's quite easy to do. Can you use a bullwhip?
No, never tried.
I'll teach you one day.
Yep.
I'll get you cracking that whip a good one. So anyway, she had other mistresses working with her because she was that popular. She had to get in some help. And so her other mistresses were called, ready for this? Miss Ring, Hannah Jones, normal name, Sally Taylor, One-Eyed Peg, Bald Cunted Poll, and a black girl called Ebony Bess, who both administered and received floggings and flagellation. So she did both, yeah. So, and occasionally Theresa would take as well, if the price was right. So she wasn't averse to having a good old rantan herself if they coughed up the readies. So clients include the very rich, public and political figures, and it was said that George IV was a regular patron. Now, at the time, other chambers were being raided left, right and centre by the police, and their mistresses and their clients could end out in prison or transported. Yeah. But Theresa was never raided. And that makes me think that her clients were very influential. I'm thinking cops.
Someone's got to be in there.
Well, I'm thinking George IV, actually. Yeah. He's probably like, right, guys, so this mistress, you can't raid her.
Leave her alone.
Because otherwise I'm going to be transported. Yeah. So I think there's definitely something going on there. And because she was so open-minded, she was up for all sorts. So she had all sorts of kinksters come along to her. And she amassed a massive amount of money over a 49-year career. So when she died in 1836, her estate was worth £100,000. Now, I've done the conversion on this and what that's worth today. Have a little guess what £100,000 today is worth.
I reckon a couple of million.
14.5 million.
Wow.
So Theresa has been beating the asses of the rich, famous and royal and amassed a fortune of 14.5 million. I'm fucking doing something wrong here. I haven't got 14.5 million.
Nope.
So when she died, her brother, who was a missionary in Australia, sailed over to sort the estate out because she left it to him. But he didn't realise how she amassed this fortune. And because he was basically, I was going to say moralistic, but he was a dickhead, he renounced his claim on the fortune. Why would you do that? God isn't going to give a shit. Just say a few prayers. He didn't do it. He was given the money. Who's going to care? Nobody. But no, his morals got in the way and he said no to 14 million. Dick.
More fool him.
So the estate went to her personal physician, Dr. Vance, but he also wanted nothing to do with it. I personally think it could be because he was a client and there might be some kind of outing or something there, I don't know. So the whole estate became the property of the Crown. I would be devastated. Now, the Berkeley whipping horse that I was talking to you about before, I've got a picture, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see a picture of the Berkeley horse. And I'm just going to show it to Nance so she can see it. She invented that. Now, it's not dissimilar to some of the stuff that you see around today, but this lady, this lady in 17 whatever, has had the foresight to make this a profession and invent a piece of kit. How bloody marvellous is she?
Yeah.
Now, you can actually see this whipping horse in the Royal Society of Art in London.
Wow.
You can go and see it, yeah. And apparently there was a box of letters and memoirs that Dr. Vance found when she died. But apparently it revealed lots of information about her clients, very, very high standing, and some crazy characters as well. And he decided to destroy it all.
Because his was in there too.
I think so. This is why I'm going back to.
Yeah.
So the Crown got her money, but they didn't get the dirt. He burns it all away. So just thinking about this lady, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but when you think about the time, and, you know, women couldn't buy houses, they couldn't vote, and they were second-rate citizens, really, weren't they? Can you imagine the power she felt? Owning this business, running this chamber with all these high-profile guys, the patriarchs who she basically was overshadowed by day in, day out, they were offering their arses up to her and she was beating them. How powerful must she have felt at that time? I mean, it feels good now, you know, when we're a bit more equal standing nowadays, men and women. But back then, when she couldn't even own her own home, there she is beating the arses of these guys and amounting £14.5 million pounds. I think she was a trailblazer of her time. And I know there'll be people out there who don't agree with that. You know, that it's not a great profession to be, you know, earning tons of money out of. But you've got to think of her business mind. Yeah. And she's created this business and done very, very well at it. I think she was outstanding, personally. I don't know, I've got a vested interest because we share professions, but I've just got a massive amount of respect for any woman that puts their head out on the block like that, but at a time when she could have been transported and all that. Brave, man, brave. What do you think about Theresa?
I think she sounds a bit boss.
I think she sounds marvellous.
A little bit reminiscent of some Lady C that I know.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Like what?
Trailblazing, always making a difference.
Oh, get you. I try. Much to my own bloody demise sometimes, stressing myself out. But I think sometimes you've got to put yourself out there, haven't you, to show people that you can just be what you want to be and do what you want to do. Fuck the world, because, you know, we're all going to die one day and you don't want to look back on life going, what if? No. You want to look back and say, I'm glad I tried, even if it didn't work out. Yeah. And I'm very much all about empowering women. We've got to stand next to each other. We've got to push each other, because nobody else is going to do it. And so if I can help somebody and push them forward and, you know, embrace themselves and what they want to be, I'll do it.
And look at what you've done. You've created this environment where people can come and learn that craft, or they can come and just be in a safe space that you create and offer to people. Yeah.
And we do classes. I've been doing one-to-one training for years, but we do like group classes now, because there's more and more people getting into the lifestyle. And if you're going to do it, you've got to do it safely.
And do it well.
And do it well, yeah.
Practice.
And being taught by the best. Yeah. There you go.
I'm very happy I'll be taught by the best.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to mentor you. Oh, get you.
Thanks.
My little protégé. My offspring. So, my middle bit, because I'm talking all dominatrix stuff. Yeah. I'm going to tell a little tale. It's a very, very short tale.
Okay.
About a client that came to me years ago, and I might actually make this a little regular slot every few weeks. Yeah. Called Domination Diaries.
Nice.
Right. This comes from, I was going to write a book during COVID, but then I just got dead lazy and I didn't do it. I started writing some stuff. You didn't get
dead lazy. You took some time off. Like,
I know. Yeah. I actually had some time off, but I did start writing some of it down, and I haven't got time to write a book, so I'm just going to share it on the podcast every now and then. I'll just give you a little domination story.
Chapter 1.
So this is about a guy that came to see me about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I can't say anything about him personally. He came about 2 hours away from like the Yorkshire area, and he had a really unusual kink. Now, so normally I'm used to people saying, can you just beat me? Yep, no problem at all. But this guy wanted me to singe his hair off. on his body.
Oh, the smell.
Well, yeah. And so in the little notes we were to and fro, and he said, so I need you to strike a long match provocatively and then use it to singe my hair. And I'm like, how are we going to do this provocatively, really? So for the couple of weeks before this session, I'm like this in front of the mirror. I mean, how fucking pathetic do I look? I'm trying to do a provocative face. I'm like that, making love to the flame. And Jimmy was laughing his head off. I'm like, you're supposed to be helping me be provocative with the flame, and you're just laughing at me. So anyway, I don't know whether I got it right or not. The guy turns up, 2-hour session, and I put him up against a cross, and he said, I haven't shaved for months, mistress, on purpose to give you like as much hair as possible. Swear to fucking God, this guy was like a gorilla. He had hair everywhere. And I was up for the challenge. I was like, okay, let's do it. I've been practicing my provocative match striking. So I'd done like burning before, burning hair without the provocative bit. And so what you do is you sort of like, you waft the flame against the skin with one hand and then tap it with the other. So as the hair's singeing, you're tapping it down so it doesn't actually go on fire. And I've done it quite a bit, so I've experienced, but not with this amount of hair. I was like, fucking hell, this might go up. So anyway, he's there and he's having a lovely time, and he's like, thank you, mistress. Oh, don't I smell lovely, mistress? I'm like, no, mate, you smell like burning hair. But yeah, you smell beautiful. And halfway through, there's a big pile of singed hair on the floor. So anyway, I'd got down to like his genital area, and his tummy was really hairy, and the tops of his legs. And I got the flame and I went up his thigh towards his pubic area. It went on fire. I have never shit myself so much in my life. I went from provocative striking and tapping to provocative striking, like, fuck, putting him out. And the guy went, ooh, I went up like a candle then, mistress, didn't I? I went, yeah, mate, you went up like a fire. So anyway, we did it, and he was ballsy by the end of it, and there was loads of hair. The place absolutely stunk.
I couldn't cope with that, I'd be sick.
Stunk. Anyway, he left, and he had a lovely time. I had to get the Hoover out, and the Hoover's like getting all the hair up and everything. And the guy there at the time who was caretaking, he actually came up. I said, oh, the room's a bit of a mess. He went, I'll do it for you. He brought the Hoover up, and he come into the room and he went, there's the Hoover. You've got no chance because the smell was that bad, and those pubic hair burns everywhere. And he went, on this occasion, mistress, that job is yours.
Yeah. No, thank you.
So from then on, I thought I need to get myself a little dungeon slave to come and Hoover up, and I did. And he hoovered up after me after that. Amazing. So there you go. That's a little Domination diary story.
I'm looking forward to the rest of them.
Yeah. Well, I've got loads. I've literally got, well, how many years worth? Got tons and tons.
There must be some crazy things in your memoirs. Yeah,
definitely. Crazy times. So I don't know whether we've actually got time for our middle bit, because I've waffled on.
Someone got a bit too chatty. It's nothing that can't wait.
I know. I'm really, really sorry, Nance.
Sorry.
What are you looking forward to in your training then? We've got a little bit of time, so let's go on a little bit.
I think just maybe experiencing stuff that I've not necessarily done before.
Okay. Anything in mind?
Maybe some branding.
Well, I do micro branding.
I know. I know very well.
So just so you know, micro branding, you actually, it sounds wicked, but you get a soldering iron. Don't judge me.
Don't judge me.
On 420 degrees. And you draw out a pattern like you would do a tattoo, don't you? And you transfer it onto the skin, and then you use the end of the soldering iron, and you just go and do like little dots along the line, and it's little micro brands, and it does burn down through the layers of skin.
When we were talking about the smell, then that's
oh, you smelled like bacon butty when I did it on you.
It was
you
like
smelled
bacon.
Fucking gorgeous. I could have licked your leg.
Better than hair.
Oh, well, yeah, I'd shave your leg as well, thank God. That's one thing I do say to people before micro brand, like, should have a shave.
Yeah.
Because, you'll stink.
Yeah.
So you want fancy micro branding?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, well, we'll book that in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we need to do some more double doming as well, don't we?
We had a really fun time doing that.
We did, yeah. Double doming's when you've got one person, one paw, unfortunate. And two
Lucky
dominants.
bastards.
Yeah, lucky bastards. And two dominants going for it.
Yeah.
And the last time we did it, on Appy Harry, he had a bloody marvellous time, didn't he?
He
The
did
noises
indeed.
out of him, and he had to lie down because he was that floaty afterwards.
He's one of my favourite people.
Yeah, he was high as a kite,
He
and
was.
he said, "Oh, just give me 5." And he was just
He
flat
was.
out, wasn't he, lying down, making these moan and groaning noises, going, "Wow, was that as good for you as it was for me?" Oh my Harry, that was boss. It was really good. I was
really
sweating after that, though.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say for anybody who fancies having a go, if you do it properly, you lose weight. It's exhausting.
It is.
When I did this full time, I've obviously lost weight again now, but I actually lost 1.5 stone just from doing this full time. Just like flinging my hands around. At first, I used to get like really bad stiff shoulders because of all the flogging. But obviously, I worked up the muscles then, and I was all right. I can whack people
your
for hours,
cardio
and I
in.
was absolutely fine. Yeah. So, my favourite thing out of my collection, I think it's definitely the flogger. I've got 73 floggers.
I seen something in your case that you didn't get out
I
that I
know.
thought you were going to show because I know how much you love that 'cause it's wicked.
About that by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like a bendy paddle. It's bum shaped, so it makes contact all round. So normally paddles are flat.
Yeah.
So if you've got like a bendy bum, it's only gonna like hit the bit that sticks out. Whereas with this, it curves round, so you get full contact, and it makes the most wonderful noise when it hits. It's beautiful and shiny and made of really nice wood. It wasn't cheap, but it's had its money's worth because I've used it on lots and lots and lots and lots of people. Why do you like that? Just because I like it?
Just because I see how much fun you have with it.
My evil face comes out, doesn't it? I do. And like, I get them warms up and I'm like, right, they're ready for it. And I bring it out and then I look at the room and go, and the room goes,
everyone's like,
oh. And the poor sub who's blindfolded go, fuck, what's happening?
What's she doing?
coming next? And that's what's coming next. And
Yeah.
they get it and they go, ah, shit.
Yeah. And the O's go to, "Ee."
And I've got to say thank you for that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is one of my favourites.
It was a nice little show and tell.
It was a nice little show and tell. I might do a little bit more of it further on down the line.
Yeah.
And I think we need to talk about domination a little bit more because it is a fascinating subject and it's something that we know a lot about.
Yeah.
We haven't got to do tons of research because it's all up there. But yeah, I think we will, and we'll talk a little bit more about BDSM in general.
Yeah.
A lot of the feedback I've had from people when we talked about it previously, like, more please, more please. I think because people are just fascinated by something they know nothing about and it's so taboo, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Good
that'll be coming soon.
stuff. Yeah, well, I'm really sorry we didn't get to do your middle bit.
It's fine.
It's just I've whistled on, and Theresa needed a bit more time, didn't she?
Theresa needed that little...
She's
of
just a
attention.
bloody star. If there's something that you want to meet, if I could, it would be just tell me all your stories, Theresa. Terry girl. Terry, sit down, have a little cup of tea with me, tell me all of the scandal.
Maybe Theresa is Teddy the townhouse goat.
Oh, another story from the day. I'm going to show the video from the other day.
Yeah.
Not now, obviously. Right, we need to go because I've been getting all this going on and everything.
Shut up.
Because I'm just talking too much. I'm not going to say I'm having a good day. Right, so people, give us some love, as we always say. Some 5-star reviews, give us some likes. Tell your friends, this is what it's all about. Share the love with all your friends because without you guys listening and your mates, we're just sitting talking to ourselves. And I think this needs to be heard by more people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, thanks for sharing, and we will see you on episode 5. And I'll let you talk next time. Honest,
Get away,
I'll make mine shorter so you can talk.
No, you won't.
I will. Oh, I promise. Thanks, guys. See you next time.